Hi there.
Listen to your voice, the one that tells you to taste the tip of your tongue. Leaving the net will heal. I don't wanna wait for the dream. It's over, I'm gonna make it mine. Decide, I know it, I'm gonna make it mine. Yes, I'll make it all mine. Bring it to me. Keep my lives on a heavy rotation. Requesting that I'm lifting you up and away. Then over to a table at the Gratitude Cafe. And I am finally there.
Miss Lonee Appleton will be with us soon. Thank you. Hi.
Hello, Miss Kennedy.
Can you hear me well?
I can.
Good, good. It's nice to finally talk to you face to face.
Yes, I'm really excited.
So am I, so am I. What time is it over there? 3 o'clock?
4.
4.
Yes.
Well, midnight for me, so I'm in my pajamas.
Oh, that's okay. I appreciate you staying up for me.
Oh, well, you know, it's a weekend, might as well. You're on such a time difference. I think I've only ever managed to catch you live one.
What time you said it's midnight? Where are you located?
UK.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah. So,
But how cool is it that you connected with someone in Arizona and I connected with someone in the UK?
do you know, it's funny because most of the people I'm connecting with are in America. Like, Brits are really stuck up, if I'm honest.
Yes. Hey, Theo, Big Rob. Here.
So, I don't even want to hesitate because I've been geeking out all day. Like, you know, like girly geeking out, like eking out.
No geeking out.
Oh, I can't help it because I think it's because you was the first inspiration on TikTok. Like, you know, it were just animal videos and flicking through, sharing my opinion, but you were like the first person that were, I don't know, rather than just showing all the good, you were showing your progression. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you were showing the family and the progression you were making as a family. And I think if more people were open about it, people wouldn't be so fake, would they? Like, always happy.
I think so. I think if people were more comfortable in their authenticity instead of presenting what they think people want to see, then, you know, people find happiness in the attention, you know? So they'll do whatever is necessary to get the attention, even if it's pretending to be someone that they're not. If they start getting attention for that, unfortunately, they are now pigeonholed into maintaining that fake persona. And so I really find joy in just being authentic. Because guess
Definitely.
what? Authenticity is messy. Authenticity isn't pretty. Sometimes it's up, sometimes it's down. I literally was crying on a live the other day because I can't go to Jamaica the way that I want to. And I got off that live after you guys spoke life into me. You know, Big Rob was one of those people, CEO, sorry, was one of those people. But, you know, people spoke life into me and they put me in perspective like, Lonnie, you're going to Jamaica. I don't care if you go to Jamaica with a penny in your pocket. You're going to Jamaica.
Definitely. And I feel fear holds people back a lot. Do you know what I mean? Like, the energy has got you. Do you know what I mean? Like, as long as you stay in that flow and live in that light energy and love, you're going to find love everywhere you go, aren't you? Like, you attract that love as long as you are giving that love.
Exactly. That's
Yeah.
why we have to maintain our vibration. We may find, going back to the attention, we may find attention for doing things, but those things aren't raising our vibration. Therefore, we will not attract into our lives the things that we desire, you know. It's
Yeah.
first internal work. Before any of those things can even bring us joy, we have to do the internal work. But we're so blinded to the fact that we have to do internal work. And we all think we're perfect and we need to find someone who accepts us for who we are. No, we were traumatized from the womb, and some of us will be traumatized to the tomb if we don't figure it out and wake up.
Yeah, definitely. I love that. I hope you're putting them bars down on paper.
Say that again.
I hope you're putting them bars down on paper.
Yes.
You're pretty good at rhyming it, aren't you?
Oh, I love it. I'm a bar somewhere. Bars.
Definitely. So for anyone that don't know, this is Lonee Appleton. She's a healthy family advocate from Colorado, is it?
I was I was born whatever, but my last place before Arizona was Colorado. Yes.
Right. I was going to say, because you have moved about a bit, haven't you?
Yes. Dad was military.
Yeah. So, do you want to tell everyone your story and how you come to this place of wanting to be a family advocate and healing with your family? And do you know, and it's so beautiful watching you develop as a family. Like, if you watch back all the videos, like, you can see how you're sort of like getting into a flow, like, almost like a Tai Chi energy or something like that.
I don't know what Tai Chi energy is, but I definitely understand. Because I had 300 drafts. And so I'm like, okay, Lonnie, stop recording new videos and start posting your drafts. And so as I post these drafts, I'm watching even just the way that I think, the way that I speak, the way that I look. Everything has evolved from when I started this TikTok journey. So it's crazy for me. So I could imagine what it is for you guys to see. It's crazy for me to see how my philosophy has changed, how my outlook has changed. And to get into your question, how I came to be here, if we could just talk about the TikTok journey. I used to turn my nose up at TikTok because TikTok used to be Musically and my kids are on Musically. And I'm like, I ain't got nothing to do with that little kitty app over there, you know? And so I had my stuff on the art side, you know, the art. I had my art profile, Lonnie Taylor Art, and it wasn't really doing anything. It was just like, whatever, you know? And then I had a friend who was like, okay, if you can somehow show your personality while you're showing your art, I think that's really going to enhance your art. And I was just like, well, how the hell do I show my personality? And people are, hey, California, people on here are so ready, not here specifically, but on social media, they just want to be mean. You know, hey, Barbara, they just want to be mean. And so over there on the art side, I started showing my personality, and people are like, oh my God, I can't believe you said that. And I was just like, y'all want to be closed minded, it's whatever. And so in 2019, I started our YouTube channel As the Apple Turns. And so I appreciate your support, dear. I started our YouTube channel. Am I supposed to ignore them or acknowledge them?
It's up to you. It's all about you and your perspective. There's nothing wrong with how you want to deliver it tonight.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, so, 2019, I started on YouTube As the Apple Turns because I am a motherless, at times fatherless child. So no one raised me, so I had to raise myself. I had to guide myself. And even if I asked my dad, hey, do you feel like you raised me? He'll say yes. But he did not transfer any skills to me. And so I had to go out into this world and figure this stuff out for myself. And that's why I started As the Apple Turns on YouTube, because I was just like, you know what? nobody helped me. I had to figure this out. I went and found surrogate mothers. I went and found women who were 10, 20 years older than me and was like, hey, do you mind being a mother to me? Because I never had a mom. Like, I really was out here doing that. So I started my YouTube channel for people who didn't have that in their lives, and they could flip on one of our videos and see a real family. And see a real family in its dysfunction, see its real family in its growth, see its real family vibing, you know. And so that's where it started. Hopped over here to TikTok, and it was a family channel. I'm saying Afro T-Lock, you know, yes. You know, so I moved over here to TikTok, and I told my family I'm going to start a family channel. And they were like, yeah, whatever. And so I started recording because my idea was I want to show authentic family moments, because we go through life and we feel like our life is so boring, our life is so mundane, because we take the moments for granted. And so I was like, if we could just live in the moments, we would realize how full and rich our lives really are. So my kids fighting, yeah, we could take that for granted, but these two little boys, you know, they're building whatever their bond looks like for them. And so I was just like, boom, this is what I'll package. We're going to be a family channel, but we're not going to be like, look at how cool we are. Huh? I'm better than you, family channel. No, we're going to be a family channel to teach people to appreciate their families. And so that's how it started. And then my husband, sorry for your loss, dear. Yes, and it takes a village. You know, well, yeah, that loss was probably a long time ago, but still, it probably still hurts. So I'm still sorry for it. you know, I was just like, how can I take my family? And it was mostly me and my husband at the time. Me and my husband, we have a nice little dynamic, right? And back then, our dynamic, we were pretty rude to each other, but it was all love, because we choose who we allow to trauma bond with. And I allowed my husband to be my trauma bond partner, and he allowed me. So we pretty much can say whatever the hell we want to each other, and it would be okay. And I was like, hey, you know, people are really loving the videos between you and I. Can I get some more videos? And he was like, I don't want to be recorded. And I was like, well, damn. And I threw a little hissy fit. And I wasn't quite in the spiritual, I was moving into it. I didn't know I was in it, you know, and I was just throwing a freaking tantrum. And then Spirit said, if he wants to remove himself, allow. And so that's when I filmed a video where I was like, hey, do you guys mind if I just start talking directly to the camera? And, you know, all the girls and all the guys, they were like, sis, this is your page. You do what the hell you want to. And I was like, okay, so that's when the whole, hey, I'm Lonee Appleton, and you saw the evolution to, if you have a couple of minutes, I have a couple of messages, then you saw I'm Lonee Appleton, and sometimes I was Lonnie Taylor, and sometimes I was, you know, you saw the whole evolution of the tagline. And now I include my family, because if I'm telling you this is how you need to evolve your family, and again, please don't try to be me. By evolving your family, get inspired to evolve your family, whatever that looks like. You know, so if I'm encouraging you to evolve your family, but you never see my family, because you always got these experts out here who are telling you how to do it, but they don't show you the results. So whenever you see my family now, it's because, A, I am active parenting. A, I am having this cordial relationship. I am supporting my husband. We are fighting, you know. People are like, you showing too much, girl. No, I'm showing just enough. Why? Because we need to see it. We need to see it in action. And especially if you're implementing some of the things I'm suggesting, and you're running into kickback and you're bumping into a wall, and you're like, well, Lonnie never showed she bumped into a wall. I must be doing something wrong. No, you're doing something right.
That's the problem with people that are giving information on internet a lot these days, because I find a lot of people do get into depression and stuff like that because they feel like they're doing everything wrong. But if you show the experiment, get people to try it, and they compare it, you know, like a science experiment, like they'll get the results. They can compare hypothesis to conclusion, and there you go. That works for me. I'll use it. Because I don't have kids, but I've been able to implement certain things you said with my husband, and be able to sort of control my own anger when I'm caught in a moment. Because rather than my own voice calling me out, it's like, yeah, well, Lonnie said this. And I'm like, yeah, well, probably shouldn't speak to him in that manner. And I'm like, well, you know. So it's nice, like, other people should be trying this stuff, like, and with the kids, like, I do try and share your videos with people that I think will benefit from the information you've got to give.
It bumps up against a lot of people though, because it's pretty much, it's challenging everything you believe to be true about yourself.
Most people don't want to do the shadow work though.
No, everybody wants to do, and I talk about this a lot. We're duality. We're spirit and we're soul. Go watch my videos if you're not familiar. But because we're spirit and we're soul, we always want to do the spiritual work. We all want to do the physical world work, and we want to ignore the soul work. We want to ignore the shadow work. And it's the shadow work that's truly going to elevate us. And if we knew that, we would, we take the hit, we take the blow, and then we do the work. Because on the other side of the work is bomb ass. Thank you. And Barbara, yes, my husband is crazy. I'm just waiting for him to pop. I'm just waiting. I've been pushing his buttons for 13 years and he's been maintaining. But I'm like, this, you're going to fly at one time. You're going to wait. You're waiting. But no, people ignore the real work. And this is something that I realized in February. My 3-year-old at the time came into my room and said something to me and my husband, Dre. I don't like my husband people to death. So Dre, said something to me and Dre, left the room and started arguing with a thin 17-year-old and a thin 10-year-old. And I was like, on what earth is it okay for a 3-year-old to argue with a 10-year-old and a 17-year-old? And he was going at it. Caden was going at it, right? But they're all arguing. And I was like, this isn't right. If I was walking down the street and I saw a 3-year-old arguing with a 17-year-old and a 10-year-old, I would break it up. But because it's my children, I'm allowing it. Why? And that was the moment I woke up in February. That's why you guys hear me refer to February. That was the moment I woke up in February and I was like, this ain't family.
So would you say your kids were the one that influenced it all? Who were the most influential people in your life?
So yes, we can start there. The most influential, because to influence is a verb, it's an action, right? So who caused me to move? Well, there's several people in my life who have caused me to move, because if we look at every interaction, every moment as a learning opportunity, if we look at God uses humans as angels, and message deliverers. So somebody comes in, like if you're watching one of my videos and you're scrolling your timeline and Lonee Appleton pops on your timeline, and because my content is so diverse, I'm all over the place, whatever video you happen to click on is for you. It's a message that is being delivered for you. So therefore, I am an influential person in that moment. So who is the most influential? There's people throughout my life who have course corrected me and then forced me to take another direction. Someone being a hater in a comment, even though their delivery is in an offensive way, there's something for me to take from it. And if I can take action from that and I can take learning from that, then they were influential. But if we want to look more specifically, yes, the most influential individuals in my life are my children and my husband, Dre, because every day I take who and what they need, who and what they are into consideration, and I move accordingly. So the most influential would be my family, but there's been people throughout my life, you've been influential in my life. You helped me realize, all the things that I'm sitting here, I'm like, man, I wish I could get a podcast interview. Man, I wish people would want to, come and see and learn about me. And you hop in my DMs and say, hey, I'm starting a new series. Do you mind being one of my first guests? Well, boom. You are a human that God has used to influence me to see who I am. So, Trinity, you are one of the influential people in my life.
Oh, thank you. Do you know, and that's such a beautiful way to look at life. So you're not just taking people, but the whole moment and what it's caused you to do and move forward in your life. And I think for the stuff that you tell us about, that's a beautiful way to still be able to look on life. Because I think one thing I've noticed is the kindest people on this app seem to be people that have had a really hard start in life. And I'm like, these are the kind of people that should be monsters. And they're turning out to be beautiful adults, and they're breaking generational curses and raising these little heroes that are about to come along and save the world. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, and it's absolutely beautiful. Like, and especially, like I said, seeing you grow, it was almost like you weren't, like I said, you weren't trying to build an empire, you were trying to build a community. Do you know what I mean? An empire, only one person sits at the top, whereas a community, you're helping each other grow.
See the vision, sis. See
Yeah,
the vision.
like, and I was like, no, this Lonee Appleton, she's, and like, obviously the first interaction where you kept saying, stop apologise, be yourself, and I'm like, I don't get that often. Like, there's very few people that I can, you know, just be my normal, authentic self around without getting told off for it. I do like to be myself, but I've got to apologise a lot.
Yes, and don't apologize for being you. There's a video. First of all, yes, you guys are aware that I partake in a gummy every now and then. But, you know, not every now and then. I'm guaranteed to take a gummy at least once a day. You know, the end of the day, I'm doing nothing else. But fortunately, inspiration hits while I might be, you know, enlightened. And so I posted a story, and in that story, I was bouncing around from topic to topic to topic. And somebody hopped on there and was like, oh my God, your thought process, are you high? And I was like, no, that's just how my mind works. My mind jumps from topic to topic to topic because I connect the dots. And I'm like, damn, this leads in this leads in, and this leads in. And I was like, look, sis, I get it. You don't know me. And I know that society has trained you to believe that someone who acts like me must be under the influence. But I spent too many years hating myself because I don't think like everyone else. I don't process the world like everyone else. And so when she left that comment, and I'm speaking to being authentically you, right? When she left that comment, it bumped up against something inside of me because I was just like, look, I've spent decades hating me. And I've spent equal decades learning to love me. And I won't allow you to come in here and say, just because you're exhibiting a personality trait that I associate with this, I don't know why being high is a negative thing, you know. I mean, whatever, we're not going to go down that road. I'm not an advocate for drug taking, but damn it, weed came from the earth and gummies came from gelatin. It's all right.
Well, I don't disagree with natural stuff given to us. And have you been diagnosed with like ADHD?
I've never been diagnosed, but I do believe I probably should have been on the short bus.
Yeah, because that our brains are supposed to be like that. Like everything is part of everything that's part of our thought process is important to the overall message that we're delivering. Like I say it all the time, like everyone's like, get to the point. I'm like, I can't, because it's all part of it.
Because I have to do this. If you're not doing this, do you know what you're missing? Do you know what you're missing by thinking like this? Like, no, I don't think that way, and I encourage people to stop thinking that way. You must connect the dots. You have to see how this led to this, how this piece of art led to this piece of merch, which led to blah, 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 which led to whatever. It all connects. This art came from, you know, I don't want to jump the gun, but this art came from another inspiration, which came from another inspiration, which came from when I was in the 7th grade, I took wood shop. I don't know how the hell I ended up in wood shop. I don't even know how the school in the hood had a wood shop class. But I could go grab it really quickly, but I was in wood shop and I created a sign using the tool that I didn't even know the name of the tool Fast forward to 2021, I go buy that tool. Started in 7th grade, had no idea. So if you are not connecting the dots and you are just living your life like this and you're beating people up because their brain works like this, you need to tap into them up who sees the connections, because they could teach you how to see the connection. They could teach you how to stop taking life for granted. So don't ever let anyone make you feel bad about who you are. And that's why when we were messaging back and forth when we first met, I was like, stop apologizing for being you. Fucking be you.
Yeah. And it were refreshing. And what people don't realise as well, if more people like us spoke to each other that have that type of thinking, then we'd be able to unbreak things a lot faster.
Man.
Like, but because a lot of people have masked that behaviour for so long, they find it hard to unmask it. So I was trying to mask to try and get perspective from people, because a lot of people don't like having a conversation with me because I ask a lot of questions. But questions are important for me to be understanding your whole perspective. Like, and people kept blocking me and like started ignoring me, and I'm like, this is exhausting, this. I'm not surprised people are so angry all the time, because they're masking and they're trying to be friends with people with this mask on, and I'm not surprised they're getting angry. That's a polite way of saying it, a-holes, like, because people are getting like that. If they're just all unmasked, they were themselves, then I think everyone would be a lot happier. It's absolutely mental. So what are your core morals and values?
You cut out. Say that again.
Can you hear me now?
I can. Good.
So what are your core morals and values? Like at this point in your life, like what have they developed to so far?
My core morals and values as of July 14th, 2023, and they will change by July 15th. One of those things is constantly being able, and Barbara, I want to acknowledge that, yes, I appreciate you and I love you and I share you. I cross everyone, Barbara and I, which is the real baby. She posted a video, and this was right in the height of the Black Girl Follow train. If I can just go a little to the left real quick, because my mind goes like this, right? And I want to acknowledge the people who take the time to make a comment. You matter too, right? And so I met her, she posted a video, and I was knee deep in my sister girl, uplift each other energy. And when I say sister girl, you already know, Trinity, I speak from the Black woman perspective, but I'm talking to everybody. If you discount information because the source isn't what you feel it should look like, you're shutting yourself off. That ain't got nothing. My internet's acting crazy. Anyway, I was knee deep into sister girl, and I happened to she was expressing that she was struggling in the moment. And I was like, well, if we're really out here Black Girl Follow training and we're really out here lending support to each other, why would I watch this video of this woman who has the courage to come on the internet and cry, to bare her soul? Why would I just keep scrolling? Why wouldn't I try to uplift her in the only way that I can? And this goes back to my morals and values. How can I love this woman? How can I show her true sister support? And I was like, well, damn, all I can do is repost her and let the people, and let the people know, hey, Barbara's out here struggling. Can we at least just show up in her comment section and say, hey, sis, we got you? And so my morals and values today are, how can I be the best possible human I can be? How can I show up for others? Because in showing up for others, I'm also showing up for myself. One of my, things that I say all the time, taglines, I guess, for now until it changes, is true selfishness is selflessness. because we have been taught selfishness is how much can I take, with giving the least. True selfishness is how do I get what I want? And I know in order to get what I want to the fullest, I must first give. And Barbara has blessed me so much. And what did I do? Post her video and say, go tell sis, we got you. So I looked out for her first, and she has looked out for me ever since. And I have looked out for her, and she continues to look out for me. And that's sisterhood, that's brotherhood, that's humanity. That's how we should treat each other. And so that's where my morals and values sit now. How can I show up for you? And you may not show up for me, but somebody's going to show up for me. Why? Because I'm putting that out there. And at the end of it, as long as I'm vibrating at the level I need to vibrate, boom, the things that I'm trying to manifest are mine. Yeah. Because if I believe manifestation, and it's funny, I downloaded this or I received this, that manifestation isn't necessarily calling something into you. Manifestation is elevating to where it's already transpiring. Because if you have an inner yearning for something, that means a piece of you or a part of you, I believe in multi-dimensions, one version of you is experiencing that. That's why you have such a calling and yearning within yourself to experience it, because a part of you is already experiencing it. And you're like, damn, me too. And so manifestation is elevating your vibration to vibrate on the level that you need to get what you desire. So morals and whatever the ethics and morals, what do I need to do to get to where I'm trying to go? Oh, I got to treat people right? You ain't said nothing but a thing. Please, thank you, yes ma'am, no sir, oh, they, them, I got you. What do you need from me? Because I'm trying to get what I want. And I'm a dope-ass human, not because I'm a dope-ass human, because I want to call into dope-ass humans into my space, and I want to vibrate on the frequency, because dope-ass humans get what they want out of this life.
Well, saying that, what advice would you give to someone just starting their spiritual journey?
First, look at my book, What's the Best That Can Happen? Yes, that is my first piece of advice. No, my first piece of advice is admitting that there's work to be done. Because a lot of us aren't even willing to admit that there's work to be done. We don't know, we don't show, or we don't care about what's going on in the hood. No, I'm sorry, I just had to do it. No, but either we don't know that there's work that needs to be done, or we're in denial that there's work to be done, or even after you've done the work, you don't know, or even once you've accepted there's work to be done, you don't know what to do. So I went through my teens and a lot of my 20s in deep self-hate. I hated myself. Because everyone around me taught me to hate myself. No one around me taught me to love myself. Not one person taught me self-love. My dad used to yell at me and tell me to pick my head up because I walked with my head down. Not once did my dad say, hey, why are you walking with your head down? What do you need? How can I support you? No, it would just pick your head up. And I pick my head up. I'm like, I don't know why I'm holding my head up, but I guess I'm supposed to. Adults feel they don't need to explain themselves to children, but how is a child supposed to learn? How am I supposed to learn why I need to hold my head up unless you tell me? So yes, get down and explain to these fucking kids why they need to do what they need to do. That's how you transfer knowledge. That's how you replicate yourself onto someone else. That's how you create little minions. Not because I have put my thumb on you and know you can't do anything except for what I want you and now you're a mindless drone. No. Let me feed into you and teach you and replicate myself within you. Bailey is truly a mini-me. Why? Because I have fed, living in your truth. Yes, I have fed her since she was a little girl. Yes, she was under my thumb, and that has caused a lot of self-doubt and a lot of work that she needs to do, but I fed her. And so after you realize there's work to do, pick up a resource. I don't believe in reading to regurgitate. I believe in reading, yes, LoneeTaylorArt.com. I believe in reading as a catalyst. So pick up the book if you're inspired. Don't buy the book. Well, shoot, yes, buy the book because you're like, I'm about to support Lonnie. Do that too. But if you are inspired to buy the book because you're like, you know what? Spirit is telling me to pick this thing up. Pick it up. And even if you read 3 pages, those 3 pages have something for you. And if you're reading it from a place of judgment where you're just like, ooh, grammatical much? Yes, I'm grammatical much. Yes, I edited my own book, so good luck with that. But, if you read it from what's in it from me, what's in it for me? How can I grow from this? I say buy the book not because I'm trying to sell the book. I am. But I say buy the book because I literally, like my videos, how I am evolving on video.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't have that back in 19, back in 2013. I wrote it. So my coming from a place of hating myself, my place of wondering why I was born, my place of building self-love and awareness, even though I didn't know what self-love was, but I was able to release the shackles of self-hate. To release self-hate is a form of self-love. So no, I didn't know how to love myself here, but I at least knew how not to hate myself. So I detail all of that and I give you prompts of how to do the work yourself. So someone who's starting their journey, admit that you got work to do, pick up a resource is going to help you do the work. And you already know how I get down, so I gave you the real for real. I didn't give you that cute little, well, according to so-and-so, no. I looked in the mirror. This man took me, an influential person. This man, after we had sex, took me and stood me in front of a mirror and he said, I want you to look at yourself. And I was like, okay, bad bitch much? Yes. Looked at myself. He was like, no, I want you to look yourself in the eye. And I couldn't. And I'm going to stop telling the story at that point because you're going to have to get the book. But he was an influential person and he really helped me learn how to love myself. He helped me realize I had zero self-love. So
that is why I want to put this whole thing together, because I don't think people are very open to just sitting and listening to other people's perspectives. And it was that perspective that shifted your perspective and started helping you develop. Like, I love other people's perspectives because it gives me a new way of thinking that I might not have thought about. So it changes the whole overall picture. So
yeah, if we stop taking people's perspectives for granted, if we stop listening to people for the jump in point, like you're talking and I'm listening for something that you're gonna say that I could grasp onto and then spin the conversation back to me. If we stop looking for which I just did that, but there's a teachable moment here. If we stop listening to people from a point of how can I be offended? How can I disagree? This person doesn't know what they're talking about because I'm so much more wiser than them, even though we have two totally different life experiences. So what they know to be true is true, and what you know to be true is true. And they're just sharing their experience, and you can expand your life by receiving their experiences, but we want to reject it, to your point. So we need to shift from rejecting perspective to be like, if this person has stopped and spoke to me, there's a reason. Because I am living and knowing, and to go back to what else people who are starting their spiritual journey, if you know that you are going through life purposefully, life is a classroom. If you are sitting in this interview, even if you sat in this interview for 3 seconds, whatever you heard in those 3 seconds was for you. How can you use it? So when you are starting your journey, the sooner you realize everything that you encounter in your life is for you to move forward, the universe is like, yes, they are open to growth. Rapid fire. And you can receive it or you can repel it, but your entire life, spirit has been trying to get you to wake up and to get you to receive these different perspectives and utilize them for your higher good.
yeah, definitely. It's almost like the whole, I hate to use certain words, the programming put into place by the system is always a divide and conquer. So in the game of divide and conquer, the one and only winning strategy is unity. Like, have you ever seen the movie Arrival?
I have not.
So this alien ship lands on Earth and they're trying to give a message to the humans, but no one can understand this language. And it takes people coming together and giving their different perspectives to understand this coded message and work out how to stop the destruction of the planet. Like, and I'm like, well, that's all we need to do. Put our heads together.
That
Because-
just reminded. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go on.
No, that just reminded me of the Tower of Babel from the Bible. How everyone effectively communicated, and that made God so upset. Let's think about this stuff. I don't know where this story came from, and I rock with the Bible. I don't mess with religion, but I rock with the Bible. But the Tower of Babel, they were able to build a tower because they were trying to get to heaven. This is my topical perspective. And God got upset. And he was like, because you're all able to effectively communicate, I'm going to give you all different languages. So you cannot now effectively work together as humanity. Huh. Does that make sense to you? Like, do you see the parallel?
See, it's funny you say that because that's one of my theories in my bundle of theories. To me, the Tower of Babel was misinterpreted by colonisation.
Definitely.
And the Tower of Babel was the last time we came together on a global consciousness in unity to ascend, and that wasn't allowed. So, I mean, there's a lot more detail to my theory, but Spirit told me the final pieces lie in the perspective of others. And that's why I've been trying so hard to get perspective, but people just don't want to answer questions. Like,
Because they don't know. They don't
No.
know. People don't want to admit that they don't know, so they'll rather get upset because the only emotion that we are highly promoted to use is anger. You know, and especially for Black men, and this is why it makes me so sad, and that's why our women are struggling with our Black men. Because, and again, I'm just speaking from my perspective. I don't know what the struggle is over there, but I'm sure there's a struggle there too. But from my perspective, you know, we're struggling with these Black men who are so steadfast in their view and philosophy, which is built or based on what? Based on what? You know, who the hell taught you how to be a man? Who the hell taught you how to be a human? Who the hell taught you how to love? You know, let's just admit that maybe our parents missed the mark. Maybe. You know, if we are out here in search of self-love, that means someone did not teach us how to love ourselves. And that's not disrespect to our guardians. That's just admitting that, hey, they probably got some work to do. And it's okay because for generations, I mean, and this is in America, you know, slavery, everything roots back to that. I really used to get upset because everybody be like, slavery, slavery, slavery. And I'm like, but slavery. They really wormed their way into our brains. They really colonized or made religion so pervasive and so controlling that we can't even figure stuff out. And we are so attached to religion because we want to hold on to something so badly that we won't even use our logical brain and see the hypocrisy in it. The same religion that they use to own us and treat us like livestock is the same religion that we hold so tight to today. Like, how did the religion say that you can be killed? They could find the scripture that says that I can kill you because you're my property. They could find that scripture. That is the same religion that you refuse to release. The same religion that said that you are not human is the same religion that you refuse to release. And that doesn't make sense to you. I'm not telling you to release God. I'm telling you to re-identify who and what God is.
Definitely. I don't think a lot of people realise that that same colonised way of Christianity also, it happened throughout Europe as well. Like, because they didn't practice that kind of stuff before the Christian wave swept through. It's like, did you know people still think St. Patrick's Day is about driving the snakes out of Ireland?
I just think it's the day that people drink green beer, so you know more than I do.
It's basically the Irish celebrating the genocide of their ancient culture. So St. Patrick came in with Christians and drove out the Druids. And for years, they thought it were about snakes. Like, and do you know what funny thing is? The Simpsons did an episode similar about Springfield called Whacking Day. It's like, Simpsons, just watch The Simpsons.
I know, The Simpsons has been trying to wake people up for a decade.
Or pre-program.
Yeah.
So that we don't panic when we find out they've already shown us how to behave when it happens.
Ooh, see, look at me. I'm looking for people to be trying to share knowledge for the sake of sharing knowledge, and you're like, no, they just getting you ready. You better teach.
I tell you, like, so I liked cult classics as a child. Like, from 3 years old, and don't judge everyone, yeah? My favourite movie was Hellraiser.
I've heard of it. That's a scary movie, isn't it?
It never scared me. Because the people that were being punished were bad people. And because I already saw horror at that age, to me it was satisfying seeing that badness being punished. Because the badness I was seeing around me wasn't being punished. Do you know what I mean? So it was like, it was a satisfaction to see that happening.
It's a form of justice.
Yeah. Like, and it was their own fault for messing with gates of hell, really, weren't it? So.
Yeah. I respect that. I understand that.
Yeah. Like, I always had a weird view on life. Like, to me, Ursula, Little Mermaid, she wasn't the bad guy. She told her everything, exactly what would happen. She showed her what would happen. All the little people that had not kept the contract, she agreed to it still, and she couldn't handle it, so she got a big gangster daddy to come along, sort it out for her. New boyfriend, come on. And all the time it were a ranter.
Because she didn't want to take accountability for her action. So because she didn't want to take accountability, the person who was trying to force her to take accountability, Ursula, was the bad guy. You better teach, Trinity. You better teach. Everything's a lesson. Let's stop taking life for granted. We're sitting here watching, and it is the pre-programming. We're teaching little girls and women not to take accountability for their actions.
And that is an issue with women. Like, and my husband used to say it all the time. Like, I'll admit when I'm wrong, but you don't.
Yeah.
And I do find, like, that's one thing that men do get annoyed about, that women don't take accountability. And then you watch it, and they're not taking accountability. Do you know what I mean? So you can't argue with the numbers that are showing up, the facts.
Yeah, you know, with the number, and this is the series I'm dropping right now with the If You're Not Married, You're Single series, where I'm just like, the sheer numbers of broken homes, the sheer numbers of single individuals, especially within the Black community. Yes, our men are problematic, who raised them, but our women have some work to do as well. And because we feel we have this beautiful Black skin, and, you know, we're Black women and we're the dopest, no disrespect to you, but we're dope as fuck. Like, I could believe that I'm dope without thinking that you're not dope, right? Trinity, you're dope as fuck too, but I'm dope as fuck too. So my dopeness is not contingent on your dopeness. My dopeness does not repress your dopeness.
If it doesn't apply, let it fly.
Let it fly, you know? So Black women out here thinking they walk on water, and I'm just like, you do. But you're believing a lot of lies while you're walking on that water. So let's fix the lies that we're believing so that we can truly walk on water. And so, and the numbers are in the broken homes. The numbers are in the fatherless children. The numbers are in the proof. The proof is there. So all of us can stand to get better. I can stand to be a better human being. There's people who look at me and they're like, oh, I'm so inspired by you. You know, you're something I achieved to achieve, or I aspire to achieve, which is good because you see your greatness. I am reflecting your greatness back to you. Lonnie is not great. Lonnie's reflecting your greatness back to you. I'm reflecting your potential back to you. So it's not even, hey, for you, Paige. It's not even, I'm out here to be envied. I'm out here to inspire. I'm out here to say, hey, you can too. And like you said, you've watched me evolve. So you've watched me go from fumbling in the dark to now I'm fumbling in the light, but I'm still fumbling. But even in my greatness, I know that I still have work to do. So even in your greatness, audience, you still have work to do. Black women, you still have work to do. No matter how fucking great you are, and please do not equate your greatness to monetary gain. The money, yes, the money's beautiful. The money's going to keep a roof over my head. Yes, but the money. We think that we're doing something because we're getting money. But we're bankrupts in our soul. We don't even know how to be real sisters to each other. Everyone who feels they need to come into my comments and say, you said something I don't agree with, I'm unfollowing you. If I said something you don't agree with, then there's some work for you to do. So you can cut yourself off from knowledge. That's cool. But why are you cutting yourself off from knowledge? Why are you cutting yourself off from a growth opportunity? Women who get in my comments and say stuff that bumps up against me, I'm like, damn, hey, Coco. I'm like, damn, they did me. Now let me get to work. And guess what? I'm better for it. I'm better for every single hater who comes out there and makes me question myself. And yes, hey, go away. Every hater that has caused me to question myself. Excuse me? Oh, so we have to put a lock on the refrigerator because my kids don't know how to respect groceries. So I need to go give them the key really quick.
Yeah, no worries. Go on, you go. I know that feeling. My mum would only buy shopping daily because otherwise we'd eat a week's worth of shopping overnight.
In one day. And last night, Caden had food poisoning or something. So he was throwing up all over the dang house. And I really loved if I could just get sidetracked. And I told Dre this morning, I really love how Dre handled it. Because in the past, Dre would be like, you know, first of all, Caden came to our room, and they always got a way to get into our room, right? And so last night was my tummy hurts. And I was like, Dre was like, you need to see what's going on with his stomach. I was like, oh, he's feeling better. Thank you so much. I was like, ain't nothing wrong with that boy's stomach. That's his go-to. You know, my tummy hurts. Well, he's in his room crying, and I'm like, what the heck this little boy crying about? And then all of a sudden I hear, and I'm like, oh, his tummy really hurt. I guess I called that one wrong. My bad. And so he comes in the room and he's crying and, you know, he's doing his thing. And I'm like, well, you can get in our bed because he threw up in his bed. And so I was like, you can come get in the bed with us. And Dre's like, no. I was like, where is the kid supposed to go if we want to go lay in the throw up bed, or can he come lay with his parents so we can comfort him? This is what I'm thinking. And, you know, usually Dre would, you know, huff or whatever, but something triggered in his brain where he was like, compassion, 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 you know. So Caden's laying in the bed with us and he's in between us and he throws up on Dre. All I hear is, and it's like 2, 3 in the morning. All I hear is, and Dre's like, what the And I'm like, my bad. And so Dre gets up and he's all, you know, mad. And I'm just like, your child is sick. And he threw up. And something clicked in his brain. And Caden was in the bathroom, you know, handling his business. And I was like, you should go see about him. Because I was tired. And clearly Dre was up. He got threw up on. So you go see about the kid. And just the way that he handled it with compassion. He handled it with grace, all the things that he would not have handled it with before. So even though he is like glitching out because he's releasing his old ideals, I'm watching him and I'm seeing him evolve, and I'm seeing him come to a place of love and coming to a place of understanding with these kids and starting to explain himself to the kids. So yeah, there's a lock on the refrigerator, so I got to go give him the lock.
It's
But I can hear you, or I got to give him the key.
Yeah, it's fine.
But you can keep talking, I can hear you.
Well, I'll wait until you come back, because the next question's about family, so it's sort of rolling on from what you were just saying.
I'm with you, sis.
So what is family to you? Like, what does family mean to you?
Yeah, it's so beautiful. The growth is so beautiful. It's so beautiful. Not, I'm going to answer your question, Trinity, but just the growth is wonderful. It is. And it's crazy because we as humans fight growth. We feel we have it all figured out, and who helped us figure it out? You know, the infancy is if we just admit we don't know everything. You know, people who are starting any type of journey, admit that you don't know everything. Start today. If you are listening to this interview, you do not know everything. There is always a place to grow. And so with my family, I accepted, like I said, that day in February, and I heard my 3-year-old arguing with a 10 and a 17-year-old. I was just like, this isn't family. And then I thought back to my childhood, and I did something strange for a piece of change on more than one occasion. You know, I did maybe not, depending on the statute of limitations, I may have done whatever was necessary to keep a roof over my head. And I don't want that for my children. So how can I keep my family here as long as possible? You know, because our society says you turn 18, get out. I can't stand living here, get out, those types of things. I turned 18 in April. I graduated in May. And on that Saturday after my graduation, I moved out, and I have struggled ever since because I could not stand to be in the home that I lived in. And so I was like, this isn't family. This isn't what I want from my family. I want my kids to stay under my roof as long as possible. I don't care if they are 30 years old and they're still trying to figure it out. Now, if they're at home not trying to figure it out, that's another failure for me. Mm-hmm. And we have to admit that potentially we failed our kids to where they can't even figure it out at 30. That's how far back we failed them. Mm-hmm. Because Bailey's like with Angel, how come she can't figure it out? I was like, Angel has been left to figure it out for herself for 10 years. For 10 years, we have just said, do better, do better, do better. What the f does do better mean? And I just want to acknowledge your background, Trinity. Like, you put effort into that, and I'm loving it. Yes, you went
Make sure they could get a little glimpse of your merch, because some of this art's awesome. And it's actually on 3D wood, the original work, in it.
Yes.
Like, it's absolutely awesome the way you do it.
Yes. So, you know, I was just like, well, she's been herself for 10 years. And for 10 years, no one gave her any tools. The only tools that she had was the TV, was the internet. No wonder my daughter wants to be a mean girl. No wonder my daughter has attached to the wayward, I don't know who I am, problematic image. And now she's that person. Hey, Shay. Now she's that person, you know, who taught her different. She's teaching herself from the internet. And so we have to understand that if our family, if our children, I don't care if they're 40 years old here struggling, it's because they have not realized that they have a problem, or they have not figured out how to solve their problem. Little help right there for you. They haven't figured out how to solve their problem. And they have a problem because you left them with a deficit. And so, to me, family is, how can we move together? Because I think about this all the time. I have 3 adult children, plus me and my husband. That is 5 potential incomes that can all come together and go buy property, go build homes, and have a fucking compound. And we all get along. We all love each other, and it's a cooperative. It's a cooperative. That's how I run my house. I am the parent, and my kids know. And it's so funny. Last night, one of the kids did something, and I went, "You better listen to what I'm saying. I'm sick of this." And then as soon as they leave, I'm like, "Okay, so anyway." And I just laughed because I was like, man, I put on real quick. Like, you put on so they know the authority when it's necessary. But for the most part, we are a cooperative. That's what family is. Family is a cooperative. I'm not getting respect from you because I'm putting you under my thumb and I'm forcing respect. That is the slave master's replication in our homes. I'm no longer raising my children like little slaves. No, you're not mindless drones. You are humans. You have your own thoughts, your own ideas. You have your own ethics. You have your own everything. I was just the person you chose to be born to. You chose your dad's DNA, but he's not the person that's supposed to raise you. You chose me to raise you. And in raising you, I have to figure out what you need. And I have 4 birth children. I have 6 children total, but those 2 are grown. My 4 children, I have to figure out what they need on a day-to-day basis. And what all 4 children need is something completely different. Throw my husband in there, I have to figure out what he needs. Throw myself in there, I have to figure out what I need. So all day I am juggling 6 people. What do they need at any given time? And me maintaining the patience to be okay with being a different person to different people all freaking day. And it's so heavy. It's so much work. But to actively, look, the key is, Trinity, you don't have kids yet. So the key is you get this knowledge before you have children, so you never mess them up. I'm over here backpedaling and trying to correct all the bullshit that I did to my kids. 1 for 18 years, 1 for 10 years, 1 for 6 years, 1 for 4 years. I have 4 individuals plus a husband that I have treated any kind of way for 13 years because we've known each other for 13 years. I have to walk all of that back. But they're so used to my treatment that when I'm like, okay, I want to treat you well, my husband is like literally glitching out. He's like arguing with himself. I have watched my husband argue with himself because I don't argue anymore. And so he is literally looking at me like, why aren't you arguing with me? And I'm like, I respect your perspective, dear. So, pretty little bow, family is a cooperative, family is support, family is love. We got to stop this damn fake love stuff. We need to stop using emotion as a manipulation tool, moms, because that's what we do. We shut off our energy when our kids don't act the way that we want them to act, and then we wonder why we have people out there in the world who shut their energy off and don't know how to be friends. Because we were taught how to show fake love from our parents. Right or wrong, that's what it is. Because does love ignore you? Does love beat on you? Does love anything that you're doing? That you, at the end of the day, if your kid goes and tells a story about you and you don't want people to hear the story, but you did that in love. Love does not transfer trauma. Love recognizes trauma, and even in that transferring of trauma, I have apologized to all of my children. Why? Because I transferred trauma, and I knowingly or unknowingly transferred trauma. And so I'm like, hey, I'm sorry. I'm learning too. And so that was a long answer. So hopefully you guys were able to pull something about what family is from that. But, you know, I want my vision is to buy land, to build houses, and for my family, for generations to come, to just flow and to love each other. I watched a family come together for Easter, and I watched pockets. This pocket of stop it! Cut it out! Excuse me? Okay, well, you can wait, right? You're not starving and you know how to feed yourself. Well, you know how to feed yourself, correct? Lord Jesus, I just went to the grocery store. Don't do me. Go find you something to eat. Well, then you're going to have to wait. Those are your options. Eat something that you're able to cook for yourself, or you wait for me to make it for you. But stop interrupting me. No, stop. Anyway, so you have a pocket here, you have a pocket here, and this pocket over here is looking at this pocket over here and having a conversation about that pocket. That's not family. Family is, yo, so-and-so is going through something. How can I support them? Coco sent me $20 on my Cash App today. Coco has bought merch from me. Barbara has bought merch from me. Trinity, you've done art for me. I don't want to call it fan art because the word fan is, but you've drawn me. You called me and you said, yo, can I do an interview with you? And when I set up my interview, I'm going to put your damn merch behind me so people know who you are. That's family. That's how you treat each other. And that's the stuff that needs to happen starting under your roof so that you can then go into the world and do it for other people.
Definitely. Because a lot of people aren't even getting that support off their immediate family, but they're finding it off complete strangers on the internet that are all looking for this community that is just completely lost in society. Because that's what we're all craving, innit? It's that community, that love, that spirit that was once amongst everyone.
Yeah, and I believe it was a Tower of Babel, right? The working together to communicating so effectively that we're building a goddamn tower to heaven. Like, that's some effective ass communication. And you want to tell me God? Me and my kids had a conversation. I know every time I talk about religion, folks get a up their butt. But anyway, I had a conversation with my 11-year-old child and my 6-year-old child, and we all came to the understanding that God is religion, Satan or the devil is spirituality. Because Satan or the devil, just think about just think about it. I ain't gonna tell you how to think, just think about it. Satan woke up and realized his power. Satan woke up and realized, yo, I could rock like you rock. And God was like, what? Cast out. Isn't that religion? Religion is don't think for yourself. Don't believe in God the way that you choose to believe in God. There is literally one way to God in Christianity. You know, if you don't believe God this way, you are dead, period. That is how they depict God for us. And this may not be true, whatever, but this is Western Christianity. God is this big punisher. And if you wake up in any way to your true divinity, you are going to hell, which is Satan. So I don't even believe Satan and hell is really how they have depicted to us. Do I believe in evil? Hell yeah, I believe in evil. But do I believe that if we wake up to our divinity, we're going to hell? No, because Satan woke up to their divinity. Adam and Eve woke up to their divinity. Everyone who woke up to their divinity in the Bible went to hell. But everyone who mindlessly just put their head down and listened, they didn't get punished. Lot's wife looked back and she was turned into a pillar of salt because she was told not to question God. I just want to see what all that fucking noise back there is. And you're going to punish me for questioning? I'm not allowed to ask questions? Like, we got to look at that stuff. That's all I'm saying. We got to look at it.
There's a lot of twist in the Bible. So one thing that really stood out for me, I think it's Matthew 10:2. Working in the garden, and like one guy starts early on in the morning and another guy starts like an hour before they finish, but they get paid the same. And that never sat right with me. And it's because if you're doing that work, but you've not got enough to even feed your family, but someone that's not done the work has got enough to feed, it's like the Bible always read as like you say, a slave manual to me. Like, that's literally how I saw it. It was a slave manual. I weren't allowed in religious studies from age of 13. They just would not have me because I was constantly pointing these things out like, this is not what spirit tells me and this is not logical. Like, why they're being punished for nothing. Like,
You,
the spirit I'm connected to, the source I'm connected to, doesn't wipe out a whole city of babies. Do you know what I mean? That's not the source I'm connected to.
yeah, I don't want to be connected to that. I don't believe. I hated God growing up, and I talked about that in my book. What's the best that can happen? Yeah. I I can't seriously promote myself, so I got to do it with a joke. I'm gonna get to the point where one day I can promote myself without being funny about it. But yeah, I talk about that. I hated God because religion messed me up so much, and so to the point where I became atheist. And then I swung back and wanted to become a pastor because I was like, okay, now that I understand who and what God is, and God is not this big punisher. And to your point, where the days of work and they all got paid different wages, that is just setting us up for wage disparities, right? You know, so we're accepting of it because literally the book that we're told to be guided by is telling us to accept it. Therefore,
Yeah.
I accept it.
Yeah.
You know, so when you were telling that, I was thinking, well, that's just setting us up to be underpaid, overworked, and underpaid. Man,
Well, I watched something other day about how we are worse off now than what it was in the Great Depression. Because if with inflation, the average wage should be about 90,000 a year. I could buy a house in that. I could buy a house in a year.
yeah.
Like, I can't afford to even buy a house.
But
Like,
if we stayed together as family, we could. If we could get along with our family enough to build, they want us to stay fighting against each other because we are so, like you said, they want us to be individuals when unity is key. The unity needs to start in our homes. You know what I'm saying? How can we go out there and get along with anyone when we can't even get along in here? People who have the same DNA or the people we choose to align with running through our, you know, how can we get along out there? Because unfortunately, some of us, I bet you everybody that's on this live, I bet you everybody who vibes with me, who vibes with you, who vibes with the people on this live, we're all outcasts. Why? Because we see the hypocrisies within our families, and so we go out and we seek like-minded people. And we all do it, but everybody on this live, we're not trauma bonding. We are all elevating. We are all growing each other. And the reason why I know that we all probably were outcasts, because for you to relate to me means you question some stuff. And the only people who are outcasts are the people who choose to question. You know what I'm saying? And so, I don't know what my point was.
I call it outcast privilege. And everyone's like, how's it a privilege? I'm like, trust me, it was a privilege. Sat on the sidelines, watching everyone else do it. Like, I learned some things.
Yeah, we just sitting there watching like, that don't make sense.
Yeah.
But dare you say something? Dare you say something?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Anita asked me what was my light bulb moment. My light bulb moment to make a change, like I said, was in February when I was listening to my 3-year-old arguing with the 10 and 17-year-old, and I was like, this ain't right. This isn't love. My 17-year-old, I've always been on my daughters. Like, that's been because I was the little sister who was treated like crap. And so I've always been on my girls. I was like, you two need to get along because she's your best friend and, you know, she's going to, you know, all the different things. And it wasn't reaching my daughter because she was just like, if this is my best friend, I'm good. You know, because my Angel does not treat Bailey well. Angel's the one who is primarily still caught in the cycle of I'm the younger sibling and I'm going to be annoying, I'm going to be defiant because this is what I'm supposed to do. Even though Bailey is continuously making efforts to change the dynamic of their cycle, you know, Bailey does have to change her tone. Bailey still has to work with her energy to be consistent. You know, me too. I've been me for 42 years, shoot. You know, so Bailey still has to work on her tone and her energy, but Angel is committed in being a problem because the younger sibling is supposed to be a problem. And so I have always been on those two to repair their relationship. But in February, I was just like, all of this is wrong. And then it just started downloading. I met people on here who taught me about altar work and who taught me how to connect with spirit, because before spirit was like this. Spirit was like, communicating. And I was just like, is this my mind or is this spirit? I don't know what it is. You know what I'm saying? And someone taught me about altar work. And I remember Facebook groups where they were talking about my ancestor altar, and I would watch videos and it was just so stupid complicated. And so it wasn't until I got on here, and I don't remember exactly why I built my first altar, but I showed it on the internet, and ladies hopped in my DMs and they're like, you're not supposed to show your altar. But I was like, I understand that, but guess what? By showing my altar, you just told me how to properly do my altar. So I was supposed to show my altar because you taught me how to properly do it. How would you know to teach me if I never showed it? So I understand the rules, but sometimes the rules are meant to be broken because that's what taught me how to do it. But in doing the altar work, spirit stopped being like this, where I'm just like, is this my thoughts or is this inspiration? I'm so confused. I don't know the difference. I got in front of my altar and I was like, I want you guys to make your voice so apparently clear that I know it's you. Also, if you tell me to do something, I'm listening, period. I'm not questioning anymore. So if spirit's like, go to your P.O. box, I'm like, I don't know why I'm going to my P.O. box, but I'm going. I did that and I lost the damn car keys. Yeah, I was like, why did y'all tell me to come to the P.O. box? I can't find my damn car keys now, But hey, I trusted. It was all about building that trust muscle. And building that trust muscle taught me faith. It taught me to believe. It gave, hey, leave me be. I'm in flow. It gave, what? SpaghettiOs? Ask Angel to make you SpaghettiOs. Tell her I said to make you SpaghettiOs. Okay, I lost my train of thought. But yeah, that was that's where it came from, just seeing, not only identifying hypocrisies because we're all caller outers, but doing something about it within our homes. We control this space. We control this right here. Females, we control this. If you're in a relationship that you don't control, you're in the wrong, imbalanced relationship. And I'm not saying you're with the wrong person, because if you can get them to flip to understand that you actually control everything, because we're the enlightened one. Look, masculine energy, feminine energy. Which energy has the fucking brain? Sorry, I didn't mean to cuss, but what energy has the brain? The feminine energy. So the person who is moving mostly in feminine energy is going to move the family, is going to elevate the family. Those who move in masculine energy are just going to keep your family going forward because you're grounded. You're dragging on the earth because you're grounded, because you're moving in masculine energy. So even if you are a female and you are moving in your masculine, bet you your life is moving like this. And the only times your life is moved this way is when you tapped into your feminine energy, which is your higher chakras, which is your higher self, and you're allowing yourself to be led by spirit. Guaranteed. Check your history and let me know.
See, that's the thing about rules as well, innit? Because you don't know what rules are fully correct. Whereas when you listen to spirit, spirit's not going to lead you in the wrong direction. And I think that's the problem with religion. It's taught you to seek all the answers from out and don't trust what your spirit said.
And that's where it starts. It's so dead. That's why I talk about duality. You must name your soul. If your soul does not have a name, your soul is being ignored. If something has a name, you pay attention to it. This isn't just a piece of art. This is Yo-Yo. This is Krishan. This is Kyla. My soul.
Well, it's funny because that was next topic. We want to hear more about your art and more about your book.
Yes. But we have to name the part of us that came to this earth to do work. You know what I'm saying? Our spirit, Lonnie, this is a meat suit. She doesn't matter. She just gets to experience things. But what came from generation, or not generation, lifetime to lifetime, my soul is ignored. But that's what's out here like, dang, I'm out here trying to learn something and you blocking me, sis. So I gave her a name. Her name is Annetta. And now that Annetta has a name, I can't ignore her. I must pay her attention. I must feed her. Why? Why would I ignore half of me? That's stupid. But I am something else. Let me see. Wow, that's how I feel about my mom, but I love her because she's my mom. I wanted to address that comment because I wanted to go back to a girl. It's 1 a.m. for you. Are you okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wanted to address that because that's what family is to me. I was just like, when my mother died, I cried because I mourned the idea of a mother. And I haven't talked about this in so long. So thank you for giving me the catalyst because I've been wanting to circle back to this. I mourned the idea of a mother. I did not mourn my mother. When my father passes, I will mourn the little connectivity points that we have, but I will mourn the idea of a father. And so that's why I get on here and I'm just like, moms, y'all got to get off your fucking high horse and say, I'm perfect, and say, no, if your kid is coming to you in any capacity and telling you there's a deficit, listen to them. Do not shush them. Do not repress them. If they say they're unhappy, listen. Why? Because you are in control of their happiness. Whether you accept, ooh, this is my guy, hold up real quick. Let me read this. I kicked the door down because my child was playing with fire, and instead of using my logical brain and going and get a key, I kicked a hole through the door. So now I got to somehow get a door replaced by Monday so my landlord doesn't see I kicked a hole through their door. I think that's a surefire way to get evicted, right?
Yeah.
But no, just real quick, I want to finish that idea that we really have to do, hold on. Cadence, stop! We need to do the work to be as close with our children as possible. Because when you are their first friend, you're their first friend. You teach them how to make friends. So if we're sitting here, I'm not one of your little friends, then they're going to go out into the world. Hold on. If not, they're going to go into the world and they're going to try to figure out what friendship is. And what are their barometers? Fake ass people that they connect with, fake ass shit they see on TV, because you're not one of their little friends. And the way that you have loved them, and the way that most mothers love their kids is they give and they take, and they give and they take love. That's how they love. And I am literally punishing my kids now. And while they're in the midst of punishment, they're like, I love you, Mom. I'm like, this is so weird. But hey, keep the party going. But my whole point is, moms, we have to work, and dads, we have to work, and guardians, we have to work to create true connections with our children. We need to be their little friend. Who is going to teach them how to be a friend if not you? Now, there's a difference. There's boundaries. My daughter's not going to come to me and tell me, blue, blue, blue. But she pretty much tells me everything, and she knows that I'm a safe space because then I can guide her, right? If your kid comes and says, yo, I was drunk at this party and blah, blah, blah. Well, first of all, don't tell me the drunk story that way. Tell me the drunk story of, I went out and hung out. It sound like, some remorse because you're doing something you're not supposed to. But, come to me and tell me the drunk story so I can tell you how to navigate it. You know what I'm saying? That's parenting. That's family. Not punishing until you get out of my house. And then once you get out of my house, you can figure that out. We literally tell our kids, not in my house. When you get out of my house, you do what the fuck you want to. But as long as you're in my house, you can't. How are they going to figure it out? Who's going to walk them through it? You want the streets to walk your kid through it? I sure as hell don't. I'm done.
Yeah, definitely. See, my mom, even though, so she didn't have rules. It were more like, do whatever you want, but these are the consequences for the things you do. So if you go out and steal, go out and steal, you can do it. But this is the consequence if you steal. You know, and it's like, I see the way you are with your kids, and that is what I would call gentle parenting. Because people think it's just being gentle with your kids. No, you still use that high tone, like talk to them in a military tone. But it's about the communication you're making with them. And I noticed how you gave an option rather than saying, just do this. You gave an option so that they had some sort of control over what they were doing. Do you know what I mean?
Release control to gain control.
Yeah. So, you know, like everyone's getting to witness it the way I've been witnessing it. You know, kids doing what kids do, because let's face it, kids are going to do kid stuff. So
Yeah,
let's
they are.
allow them to be kids while guiding them through life.
Exactly. Let them bump their head while they're with you. Please bump your head while you're with me, because if you bump your head when you're not with me, you're going to try to figure it out by yourself. You're going to try to figure it out with your other dumbass friends, or you're going to try to figure out based on what society tells us we're supposed to do in this situation. I watched this little boy, I have the video. I watched this little boy get arrested because he was suspected of shoplifting. And when the police officer pulled him over, he had a gun on him, and he picked up his gun to show the police officer that he had a gun. And the police officer's like, "Oh, you trying to," he responded to that. He's like, "No, I'm just trying to show you my gun so you know I have a gun." And I was like, I bet you none of the cops who arrived on that scene is going to give that little boy the benefit of the doubt. Who taught him, how are you supposed to handle, I have a firearm on me, and how do I notify the police officer? Why can't we give each other the benefit of the doubt that maybe we never learned that? Now, this little boy is going to go and have the consequences of pulling a firearm on a police officer when all he tried to do was show the police officer he had a gun, so he didn't get in trouble for it and ended up getting in trouble for it. So, yeah, we got to just start using our brains with each other. We got to start using our brains with ourselves.
Critical
I'm not
thinking.
irrelevant. Yeah. Critical thinking. We don't think. Trinity, we don't think. It pisses me off. We are so
annoying.
reactionary brain. Yes, we are so reactionary brain. We think from our stem, which I cover in my book, What's the Best That Can Happen? You know, whenever we do something reactionary, thank you for the follow, all the reactionary brain is based off emotion. I'm making decisions for my life based off of emotion, not logic, emotion. Do you know I have stopped my car on the freeway, got out of my car, and knocked on somebody's window because they were driving too close to me? Emotion. And if I would have got shot and killed on the side of the freeway, I would have been screaming victim. Well, I wouldn't have been screaming nothing because I would have been dead, but somebody would have said I was a victim. Why? Because my dumbass did not use my brain and hopped out my car and went and knocked on somebody's window, stopped my car on the freeway. Like, so many levels of stupid, but I have done it because I am living my life according to reactionary behaviors. I'm not using my logical brain. This dumbass is going through whatever the hell they're going through. What does that got to do with me? Shit. Mind my business. Available at LoneeTaylor.art.com. Yeah, the merch. Oh, nothing, just minding my business. Yes, mind your fucking business. Your life would be so much peaceful if you just minded your business and you did not create a narrative and you allowed people to people. Emotional intelligence is key, sis.
Definitely. So before we get on to all your merch and stuff, what would you say is your overall goal? Like, what's your end game?
My end game. All right, so I've hesitated to say this because I don't want to sound full of myself. But then I go turn on a rap lyric and I hear people talking about I'm the greatest rapper alive and I'm the best. And, you know, all these negative people can beat their motherfucking chest. So if I'm out here in positivity, can I beat my chest too?
Yes, you can.
You know? So in that, it's not me being cocky. It's not me being arrogant. I realize that everything has a negative space and everything has a positive space. We're allowed to know who we are. Once we know who we are, then we can go start walking in our truth and we can truly walk on water. We don't have to pretend. We can actually walk on water. And so on the pervasive side, that's cockiness. That's I'm the best. No, like you said, community. We all rise together. So when I came to this earth, I've known since I was a child that I came here. I don't want to say it, but I came here to save the earth. It's weird. It's so weird to say that. But I know that I came to this earth to impact humanity. Whatever that, we all came to earth to impact the humanity, right? You right now doing this interview and people who are able to listen and derive meaning from it, you were impacting humanity. I just know that I came to this earth to impact humanity in such a huge way that's beyond me. And
you're an Aries, aren't you? Yeah, Aries were on another level. We're the first here, we'll be the last to leave.
Yeah, you know, we know who we are, even though we don't know who we are. But once we figure out who we are, the power is amazing. And so my end goal is to impact as many people as possible, to blow this sister support up into a movement, to this community. Y'all out here thinking I'm joking about building community. You think I'm out here just trying to gain off of y'all. I'm not trying to gain. I'm giving. You can look in these comments. You can listen to Trinity, and you can see that I'm out here giving. I'm not out here taking. I'm out here giving what I get. You know what I'm saying? And I give first. And I'm just trying to help right humanity. I'm here to save the Black family. And again, saving the Black family is saving everyone. Because take Black out of it, and I'm just here to save the family. But I'm here to save from my perspective. So I am typically talking to females. I am typically talking to Black women. I am typically talking to mothers. I am typically talking to heterosexuals. But just because I'm using that language is not exclusionary. It's just I'm speaking from my perspective. And for me to say he, she, they, them, you know, everything I'm saying, if you have children or you don't have children, for everything I'm saying, no. Use your critical brain. I shouldn't have to tell you how to think. Think for yourself. But if you are here to learn, pull what it is for you to pull. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm here to save the Black family because we are the first generation that is not making any progress. We are the first generation to fight progress. When they are saying the Black mom is the problem, the Black mom is saying, no, I'm not. Who's raising the children? I am in a marriage and I am still raising the children. So even if there's two parents, who's responsible? And even if the man is raising the child, who raised the man? It roots back to the mother. All of our issues roots back to the mother. And there's going to have to be a deconstruction and a rebuild. So the world that we know, starting within our homes, will have to fall. Everything's going to have to restructure. And that's what Dre is dealing with right now, because I'm the one who is choosing the restructuring. Dre did not choose the restructuring. Dre is like, you know, trying to keep his peace during all of this. And I have to show him compassion because I'm like, look, you didn't ask for this, but you asked to be with me. And because you chose to be with me, you are now a part of this restructuring. So now you have to choose, am I worth, is this family worth, and what we have worth you taking yourself through this? And at the end of this, we cannot be here. At the end of this, we must be here. So if you can't figure out how to go from here to here, potentially there will be a separation, and it doesn't have to be bitterness. It's just, why would you want to be here with someone? How can you build with someone like that? You know what I'm saying? And so I'm just here to save us. I'm here to wake us up. I'm here to grow the platform on such an extreme level that, you know, and it's not even me. I have impacted you, and you can internalize that impact. And now you can now sit in front of your microphone. I'm so proud of you, and share and heal your family and heal the people you come across. So I'm able to help people wake up to their truth. And it's not about regurgitating anything that I say. It's about using your brain. You know, so that's why I'm here. I feel that, you know, one day, and I'll end at this, you know, one day I sat up and I was like, I'm going to figure this life out. And something I know about myself, anytime I say I'm going to figure something out, I figure it out. And one day, I think in my 30s, I said, you know what? I'm so tired of suffering. I am so tired of questioning why the fuck I was born. I'm so sick of living. If I have to continue living, I'm going to figure it out. And I figured it out. Thank you so much, Anita. I appreciate you guys. Yes, growth is so uncomfortable, but it's so necessary and it means it works. And Trinity, you said earlier, our something to the respect, it may have been when I went through the interview in my head and I was doing a mock interview, but I believe you said something of, God's favorites have it the worst.
Oh, yeah. It's something I believe because, so I don't like using the word God. I like to use the word source or creator because, you never know what they've tricked you with.
Yeah.
But, like, you've got to think, and I tell this to people all the time, like, don't dim your light. Because when people are standing, my husband tells me all the time, that's why people don't like being around you. Because it burns them to know that you're putting in the work and you're getting somewhere and they're not getting anywhere, and it's because they don't want to do the work, they don't want to shine brighter. But Jason Mraz has got a line in a song, and this was like 2009, and he said, if this little light of mine combined with yours today, how many watts could we illuminate? Because the more we combine it, the brighter it's going to get. And there's going to be no darkness that can withstand it.
Yeah.
No.
They either got to shape up or ship out.
Yeah.
Yo, check this real quick. Are you finished?
Yeah.
Okay, check this out real quick. Every family has a black sheep, right? Everybody has a child, and it's usually the middle child. The middle syndrome, middle child syndrome, blah, 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 whatever. Read into that.
Eldest for me.
Yeah, doesn't matter. I just made that connection, but that may not even be a connection because there's no middle in my family. I'm the youngest. But anyway, every child has a black sheep. A black sheep is a truth teller. So I think God plants a truth teller in every family, but we look at it as a negative. When God has planted our universe or source, however you want to rock, they're planted in your family to wake your family unit up. Generation after generation, someone is planted inside of your family to wake your family up. But because they're a child, we don't listen to them. Because they're a child and they go against the grain, which all going against the grain is someone who's not going with your flow, not the flow. They're not going with your flow. So they're going against the grain, and so we automatically have a negative perspective. But if you have someone in your family, a child that is underneath you, or just someone in your family that doesn't agree with everything, start listening to that person. Because that person is a plant that was put into your family to wake your family up. Now, I'm not saying the things that they're saying is necessarily what you need to listen to, but the fact that they're questioning everything, and we can look at the state of the world, and the state of the world is a totality of humans and how current human people function, there's a problem. And your child or that person in your family sees it. So the fact that they are questioning it, pay attention to them, because they're the truth teller in your family, and they're the light in your family, and they're going to be the ones to help wake humanity up, and you have been blessed to have one in your household.
And a quick sideline, have you ever met a single person that 100% agrees with everything you say? On any level, no matter what you talk about, agree with every perspective you have.
And my husband, he's such a yes man. He just wants me to be happy. But no, he's starting to disagree with me with his chest, and I appreciate it. But he has an agreeable personality. He just wants to keep the peace. But no, I don't know anyone who has 100% agreed with me.
And yet, we should be able to get along just like this.
Yes.
Like, because TikTok's full of people and they disagree and that's it. There's a whole argument. And I'm like, but we can disagree without it turning into war, right? Like,
Yeah.
I've never met anyone that I agree with on everything. There's always going to be some people disagree with,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know.
Yes, and I think that's important because the black girl thing is you had me until you had me until. Why are you looking to be offended? You should be looking for you had me because of this. Like anything, I'm selfish as so anything I encounter, I'm looking in it what's in it for me. How can I pull something from this? How can you have a negative experience if everything you go into is what's in it for me? My suffering, and you want to ask, who made me who I am? My suffering throughout my entire life. I could have became a monster, like you said at the beginning of the interview, but I have chosen. I did. I went through my desperation. I went through my depression. I was homicidal and I was suicidal. But I didn't become a monster. I chose to derive meaning. What's in it for me? Why was I passed around from home to home? Why was I never taught to love myself? Why was I never looked out after? Why was I in all of these relationships that I chose? I'm no victim. I chose every single man that dogged me out. Why am I in all of these situations? Why am I giving my love to people that don't know how to love me? So I could sit here today and say you're giving your love to people who don't love you because you don't love yourself. And if you're under the illusion that you have self-love, why are you surrounded by the motherfuckers you're surrounded by? It's not because there's shit humans out there. It's because you attracted and you allowed shit humans into your circle. And that's what we're here to talk about. And that's why I went through what I went through. And that's how you derive meaning. And that's how you find purpose. You are not a victim. You were victimized because victims stay down. People who have been victimized, they take that knock and they keep it moving because they take the lesson. So that's why I've been shaped from birth. I went through everything I've gone through. I'm a crack baby. I've been taking shit from conception. But guess what? I'm taking that shit and I'm like, boom, how can I flip it and not only help me, but help others?
And build community.
And build community. Together we rise, sis. Together we rise.
And now the art, the book.
The art, the book.
Like, I swear, those pieces of art, like all three of them were done on wood first, weren't they?
Yeah, they are all, hold up. Yeah, they're all wood, 3D, hand carved.
And then you've got that biggie one as well. How long did it take you to do that biggie one?
See, I don't time myself. The one time I timed a piece, it took me 37 hours. But that was a little boy that I made. And now that I paint from oil takes a sweet ass time to dry. And so, gosh, I don't know how long it takes to make an art piece. And I don't know if I'll ever make another art piece to time it because I don't enjoy it anymore. I will start doing art again as a form of earning money. But I'm a lifelong learner. And so I know that I did art because art was supposed to teach me patience. Art taught me how to see myself, how I could not sit here with the confidence. I could sit here and pretend, but I need you guys to know that I know who I am. And even in knowing who I am, I have good and bad days, because I have 99, my faith meter is like at 99%. You know what I'm saying? And so, but that 1% is allowed to doubt and wonder and be like, hey, even though I feel like I've been sent here to save the world, what if I'm delusional? And so I'm allowed to, hold on. Kaden, please stop. I know it's so difficult, but I think you can handle it. So I forgot what I was saying. It was interesting to me though. Okay, but both of you go to your room, please, and tell Bailey to come here. Tell Bailey to come here, please. I'm sorry, what was I talking about?
You were talking about how you might not be getting back to art yet and you don't time it, and
Yes.
because of your process and what each thing's supposed to teach you.
Yeah, so art, I learned art, but I learned, stop it, Caden. Okay, Angel needs to stay away from you. I started art because I posted these Scrabble tiles on my wall on the internet. And someone was just like, and it's funny because this was the second time I did the Scrabble tiles. The first time I did the Scrabble tiles, nobody paid attention. But I remember right before we moved in this house, I was watching videos about how to, you know, encourage or usher in money. And Bailey, is that you? Hey, the guy who's gonna fix Angel's door is gonna come. His name is Robert. If he rings the doorbell, will you let him in so he can measure? And then let me know when he's here so that I can figure out how much it's gonna be to replace the door. Thank you. All right, so we got till Robert gets here. You know, but I posted my Scrabble tiles, and everybody was like, oh my God, the Scrabble tiles, how much? And I was like, I just did these for my family. You know how everybody's like, yeah, I'm gonna get some, but they never do. And so, but one person, she messaged me and she's like, no, sis, I'm serious. I want some, how much? I was like, well, I don't make them professionally, but I could do some research and figure it out. And so I started a Scrabble tile business, and I wanted Mr. and Mrs. Appleton above my bed in big letters. And I went online to figure out how much that cost. It was like $200-300. And I was like, bump that. I could buy the machine to make the word before I pay somebody $300. And so I researched and I read comments, and I figured out the machine that everybody was using was called a scroll saw, which is a story that I told in the beginning. I used a scroll saw for the first time when I was in the 7th grade, but I didn't know that's what it was. But when I looked at the saw, I was like, that looks like the saw that back in the 7th grade, right? Anyway, so I go to Lowe's and I buy a scroll saw, and this is how you know that you've connected to what you're supposed to connect to. And just because you've connected to what you're supposed to connect to does not mean that this is the end. So I'm speaking to those of you who are trying to start businesses and follow your calling. Your calling can be a multitude of things. I've done a lot of things, but what I've noticed when I started doing art and starting with the Scrabble tiles, someone came in my DMs and said, no, I'm serious. How do I get some? Someone came to me and said, I don't care if you want to do it or not, you're doing it. And I was like, well, this is the first time that I put something out there, because I've started tutoring businesses. I've done all kinds of things and nothing. But when I'm not even trying to sell something, someone came to me and said, no, I want it. How much? And I was like, oh, that's different. And then when I started doing the wood pieces, and you guys can see all of my other art at Lonnie Taylor Art on TikTok. When I started doing the wood pieces, people just started coming. And I was like, damn, I don't know, 100, 200, 300. I don't know what I'm supposed to charge, you know. But people were like, I don't care how much, I want it, you know. But always with the art, the energy behind it was, if I don't make you cry, I didn't do my job, which means that the art was so infused. And especially if it's a memorial piece, I ask Spirit, I'm like, hey, I'm making this for your loved one. What do you need? And it's funny, I add things and I take things out depending on the picture. And there was one case where the guy who passed away was holding a bowl. He was in the kitchen and he was holding a bowl. And I decided to include the bowl. And when I sent them the art, she was like, my God, he loved to cook. And that was how we all bonded. We all came over the house. We all sat at the kitchen counter, and he was like a short order cook. He was like, what you want, what you want, what you want. And so the fact that I included the bowl was extra sentimental. Another time, somebody had me replicate their childhood home for their grandfather. and their grandfather loved sitting on the front step, and there was a folding chair sitting on the front step. Stop. No, stop. No, stop. There was a folding chair on the front porch. And she was like, my God, my grandfather loves sitting on the front porch. I can't believe you kept the chair. So when I'm doing memorial pieces, I tap into the energy of the deceased. And I'm like, hey, I'm doing this for your daughter. I'm doing this for your grandma. I'm doing this for whoever. Put your foot in this. You know, and my mother is also my partner in that. So I'm like, Mom, make this pop the way that it's supposed to pop. So in the art, I became okay with rework because literally my art is pieces. Hold on. This is a better example. My art is pieces. So if one piece, you lose one piece, you've lost the piece. Because I don't cut to the precision to where I can just recut another piece and just pop it in there. There's some people who could cut with that precision, and I am so impressed. I am not one of those people. If I lose one piece, I've lost everything. So how many pieces I have had to redo, because I lost one piece?
Yeah.
Out of 300 pieces, you know, and so it taught me so much, but art isn't my thing. But I had success because I was supposed to learn something. You know, I get off track. I was supposed to learn something from art. So in order for me to keep doing art and to learn the lessons that are necessary, somebody had to buy into it. Someone had to say, hey, make me some art in order for me to keep learning, in order for me to keep elevating, in order for me to, yes, learn the art, which I believe this art is a critical piece in my story. You know what I'm saying? I'm not an artist. I arted, and I arted very well. But I don't think that I'm going to be going to art galleries and showing my art, and I'm going to be I do believe my art will sell at Sotheby's. I think that's what it's called, or whatever the little thing is. I do believe that my art is going to sell, but I don't believe that I'm Rembrandt or some artist out there. You know, I don't believe that's who I am, but art taught me something. And you know you're doing, here's y'all's message. I got sidetracked. You know you're doing what you're supposed to be doing because people start coming to support you. You came and asked me to do this interview, Trinity. I came to support you.
Yeah.
You came and asked me to do this interview, Trinity. You came to support me. You understand? That's how you know you're doing what you're supposed to. Because people come. The Field of Dreams. This is when I finally made that parallel with my art. The Field of Dreams. If you build it, they will come. This man from Ohio messaged me. The Biggie piece. This man from Ohio messaged me and he said, I love your art. I can tell you how you can make it better. White man who refers to himself as a redneck from Ohio messaged my black ass in Arizona and was like, I love your work. I know how you can make it better. And he took me under his wing and I became his student. He is my mentor. Jim Marrow, I believe Murrow. I don't know how to pronounce his last name, but Jim messaged me and was like, boom, I got you. And he was my teacher for 2 years. 1 year, I'm not sure, but he was my teacher. And it was all online, you know, and I've been with Jim through, you know, his father has dementia. So y'all think this whole TikTok stuff is new. It's not. I've been making friendships with strangers or making relationships and building community with strangers. Shay, if she's still out there, she's somebody that I met on Facebook. Shay is a person who has influenced my life. Shay changed my life. Shay said, hey, you know you could get paid by these Facebook Reels. And I was like, what the hell is that? And Shay was like, boom, this is how you do it. Shay taught me how to build online community. Even though I was doing it my own little way, Shay taught me the method. She was like, boom, this is the stuff. This is how we connected, Trinity. How to meet people online. That series of videos, Shay taught me how to do that.
Right.
And so when you build it, they will come. When you are doing what you're supposed to do, you will come. So if you were doing something, you were banging your head and you were trying, and you can't get nobody to pay you no fucking attention, you're supposed to learn something from that. But that's not your it. Because your it will open up no matter what that open up looks like. And people will come to you and say, hey, I see you're doing such and such. Can I help you? Hey, I'm starting a podcast and I want to interview you and introduce you to my audience. Can I help you? Like, that's how it happens. And
Yeah.
that's how I know I'm doing what the fuck I'm supposed to do, because people like you come to me and you say, hey, how can I help? And so those of you, I'll get off my rant in a second, those of you who are out here and you're trying and something is calling you to be great. Look, if you're chasing it because society says to chase it, you may or may not get results. I don't know. I don't know that path. I've never had results in trying to chase what society tells me to chase. But I have started a t-shirt line before, back in my 20s or whenever, and nothing ever came from it. The only 2 t-shirts that sold were the 2 t-shirts I bought. But guess what? I have a t-shirt line now. And there's people out there who are wearing my art. Barbara has one of my pillows.
I was just about to say, the pillows are awesome. Like this one, this one. Oh, yeah.
They are.
Make sure you go. I've put the link in my bio as well for 24 hours.
Yes.
So you can go to either bio and check Fruit merch.
Yes, each girl has their own saying on their pillows, for the larger pillows, for the smaller pillows. So, the t-shirts, how the merch line started was another influential person in my life, Crystal. She, I met her online. She was just like, in order to get the art out there, she was like, you need to create a line that is specifically for merch. So these girls are the only of my art that you'll see, and then there's the Bishop and the Chucky. But otherwise, these ladies were created specifically to go on my merch, because that was my way of making my merch, making my art available to everyone. A $27 t-shirt versus my art goes for $100,000 now, because I know how much it's going to be worth in the future. I am not selling myself short just because I need money today. I refuse to sell myself short just because I need money today, because I know what this is going to be worth in the future. And if I'm wrong, then it's just going to be a dope ass heirloom for my family. But either way, I'm not going to sell my life, because this is my life. This is my energy. You know what I'm saying? And so if Bo Biden can sell a little scribble for $250 just because his last name is Biden, I'm going to hold on to mine until somebody's willing to pay $100,000.
Yeah, know your worth.
Know your worth. Don't sell yourself short. Don't create your prices according to what you think that the people want, but create your prices with the people in mind. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to gouge people. So my shirts aren't $40 and $50 and $60. No. My shirts and my pillows and everything in my book, everything's priced so that I can make a profit, but it's affordable for everyone. You know what I'm saying? So if you want to support, if you think it's dope, whatever reason why you purchase something, the book, this is my spiritual evolution. I was like, God told me. I wrote this book in a month. This was the first part in a 2-part series. This was the first part in a 5-part series. I wrote this book, which I have to republish through Amazon, because I don't even know if the publishing company I went through is still around. Stop. But I wrote this book in 2 weeks. This is the first book in a 5-part series. In 2003 or 2005, whatever year it was, I wrote this book in 2 weeks. This is the only book in a 5-part series. So clearly this is the only book that was supposed to be written. This is the first book in a 2-part series that covers I know now that the second part is being written through video. You know what I'm saying? But this covers the beginning, being, because I realized that we are human and we are being, which means we are physical, spirit, and we are soul. The spiritual world. This is covering the spiritual world, doing the internal work to get to the space of now you can start receiving self-love. Now I know now that I'm doing the physical world, the human side. So right now in video, I'm doing the human side, and I did the spiritual side first, because the spiritual work needs to be done first. If you are not addressing your inside, you can never address your outside. All you can do is dress up your outside, but you're still dead inside. Who told you to unlock my door? No, I don't want whatever it is that you want. Turn around and out. No. I want respect. I want respect. Can you guys respect me? Excuse me, your stroller? Yes, you can play with your stroller. No, don't do it. Give me respect. And please leave my room. No, give me respect and please leave my room. He does have on a shirt that says respect his mother, but he's not respecting me and I don't appreciate it. Please back and go and shut my door.
Can I have my SpaghettiOs in the refrigerator, please?
Sure, you can put them in the refrigerator.
I don't know where the lock is.
The lock is, I'm sorry. The lock is out there.
Oh, I forgot. Sorry.
That way.
You like break in your room like a robber.
Yeah, but no one told you to break in my room like a robber. Go. Get up before I throw something at you. All right, Robert is here.
I was just about to say, that sounds like he's Saved by the Bell.
Literally. Man, so yeah, we had a good talk. I think we covered some things. Definitely pick up the book. If Spirit tells you to pick it up or you just want to pick it up because you want to support us, sis, it's all available at LoneeTaylorArt.com. Get you some merch. Again, I am speaking, look, loving the skin that you're in. Everything is positivity. Everything is uplifting. Everything is here to, like, if you got to wear a t-shirt, you might as well wear a t-shirt that has a message that is uplifting you and uplifting others.
And supporting a community, not big corporations.
Yes, we are. Look, in order for me to continue to sit here and do a 2-hour interview with you, I got to be able to do a 2-hour interview with you. So if I'm spending my time, plugged into the machine and doing all those different things, when can I create? When can I think? When can I be what you need me to be? Selfishness is selflessness. In order for you to get what you need from me, I have to be available. And how am I available? Because you're supporting me.
Well, Lonee, thank you so much for joining me. It's been absolutely amazing. Don't forget, everyone, I've put the link in my bio, so if you can't remember what it's called, head to my bio. It's in Lonee's bio. If you can, don't forget to put something in tip jar for her.
Yes, I'm going to Jamaica. Put something in my tip jar so I can...
Even if it's just a spare couple of dollars, give up your coffee tomorrow and stick it in Lonee's jar.
Yeah,
It'd be very much appreciated. Don't forget, don't believe everything you hear on the internet. Do the experiment, put it into practice, see the results.
Amen. And yes,
open your mind.
I'm going to smoke the good Jamaican ganja when I'm in Jamaica. So put a tip in my jar because I don't think they take credit at the ganja store in Jamaica.
I doubt it. Thank you so much for joining us, Lonee.
I love you so much. Thank you, Trinity.
Love you too. I do hope we get to do this again in future.
Yeah, just let me know. I'm chilling.
Thank you so much, Lonee. And thank you for everyone that's tapped. I'm sorry I've ignored you tonight, but I want to give my guests my undivided attention, so I'm picking up on everything they're saying and actually hearing the perspective. So thank you for the likes. Love you all later. Don't forget, tomorrow we've got Hyper Heights in. It's 9 o'clock UK time, 3 o'clock Chicago time. So thank you all very much, and I'll talk to you later.
Thank you so much.
Love you all. Have a day full of love and joy.
Yes, love you.
Love you. Right, everyone. I'm off. I've done over my hour and a half. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Thank you for the gifts. Thank you for the likes. And until tomorrow, thank you for joining TriniView.